Aloha guys, of course when I heard about the 8.9 quake in Japan, the first thing I thought was HAARP. So I thought I'd go take a look at the HAARP, and I'll tell you right now, this is the day prior of the earthquake. Then you can see right here, this is the day of the earthquake, 3:10. You can definitely see some spiking going on, there's no doubt about it. Then we'll go ahead and click on the next day. Even going into 3:11, you still see some spiking. I'll tell you, I know that when they're going to target an area on Earth for an earthquake, they usually zoom in with their space-based lasers and scalar energies, and they'll penetrate an area in a few mile radius, or however miles they're going to penetrate it. Could be 100 for all I know. But what they're going to do is they're going to definitely do a couple-day period of sending out that scalar energy. So I know we've got movement on the quake and after, and I wouldn't doubt it if they just continue to penetrate that area so that they continue to get aftershocks and the tsunamis. It was ridiculous all the way back here. Schools were out, tourists were asked to go to higher floors in hotels. They were asked to get off the beach. I mean, it was like mayhem over here. It was absolutely insane. But I just want to show that there was movement in the HAARP. And, you know, take a look at this. This is the saddest thing. I mean, look at this, guys. These are little cars falling over. They look like matchboxes. You gotta believe the big New World Order has a plan. It's much better than a nuclear war. It's a 1-2 punch. First, HAARP creates chaos. Then Big Brother will introduce you to their spanking new FEMA camps. HAARP is the weapon of choice. No radiation floating around to upset the higher-ups. And the problems of rounding up people for the camps has been eliminated, as folks will be so traumatized from the harping and the man-made quaking that they've just received that they will go gladly to Mother FEMA's bosom. You know, as I had said, that the HAARP is the weapon of choice. They can create tsunamis. I know that they created the tsunami in Indonesia when they had 200 and something thousand people die. I just want to point it out to you. I found it really, really odd that Japan had prior threats with earthquake machines. Check this out. Gotta start putting the dots together here. Listen to this.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control.
Hold one second. Sorry, my mistake.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude. That was too much of a coincidence for me. So I started doing research and found out about HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And I realized that they really did know how to make earthquakes. And they do it by shooting a billion-watt microwave into the ionosphere, which is the part of the atmosphere that has a lot of energy in it. That pushes the ionosphere up into outer space, and then it rebounds. And the way it rebounds can cause earthquakes. Just like an opera singer can break a glass by singing at a certain level, or by dragging your fingernails on a blackboard, you feel a weird sensation. If they adjust the vibration for the rock underneath their target site, they can do that. The same machine can also heat up subterranean water to cause earthquakes. And remember, a 1 billion watt microwave. What does microwave do to water? It heats it up. Now imagine if you put 1 billion watts into a tropical storm. You could make it much bigger, and you could change the direction it flows in. You know how there's high pressure zones and low pressure zones. Well, high is hot and low is cold. And the hot flows into the cold. And vice versa when there's more of the cold. So they can heat up an area and cause it to flow into a next door area. In other words, these people are capable of creating the cyclone that hit Myanmar, the tsunami that hit Indonesia, and the earthquake that hit China. Now, after the earthquakes hit Niigata, a member of the Inagawa crime family, which is based in around the U.S. Yokosuka Air Base, and members of the Inagawa family have told me that their big boss is George Bush Sr. In other words, they work for Skull and Bones.
Okay, I just wanted to give you a little idea there. What's going on is that obviously, when I took one look at the Prime Minister here, I mean, he looks like an absolute puppet. He was going really down in ratings, and I'm telling you right now, I think they're trying to make him out to be the hero, because they wouldn't create this man-made disaster at this time if he wasn't the perfect puppet. I mean, he's telling everybody to relax and calm down. We can make it through this. I mean, you know, this is really disgusting to me, and I find it kind of ironic that Japan Prime Minister Mr. Khan refuses to step down from his position. This is only 2 days before the man-made quake, and as you can see, we know that the Japanese government is very aware about earthquake machines. I mean, Mr. Khan, he himself said he was going to step down after he acknowledged that he accepted a political donation from a foreign national, which is illegal in Japan if done intentionally. And that's right there saying that he's connected. He was getting a large sum of money from a foreign national bankster. So, I mean, I know right now he's right where he should be. He's the perfect puppet. I also thought that it was kind of interesting that, check this out, that the yen gains most since August as earthquake spurs haven demand. This is kind of interesting. It says the yen gained the most since August against the dollar after the worst earthquake in at least a century struck Japan, spurring a domestic investor to buy the currency as a haven. The Japanese currency strengthened against all its major counterparts after the 8.9 magnitude trembler, and as a tsunami of 33 feet engulfed towns along the northern coast. Increasing speculation, insurance companies and investors will buy back yen to pay for damages. That sounds a little fishy to me. All I can say is that, already you've got speculation of insurance companies coming in and investors to buy back yen to pay for damages. Insurance companies, those are the arms leading to the banksters and the elite. This is already looking a little bit sketchy. I gotta show you something else I thought was interesting. Wait, just a second. Here it is. Check this out.
Cloud generator up here, an ultrasonic nebulizer. It's going to create real water particles, just like you would find in a cloud.
How to make a harp.
What we're seeing now is we're actually filling this chamber with microscopic water particles. You can see that it's almost completely filled with water vapor. It's beginning to condense a little bit on the sides, just so that you can see the detail. We've got a nice dense fog, just like you were sitting inside a cloud at 50,000 feet.
At the bottom of the cloud chamber, Dr. Agnew has constructed an ELF wave transmitter, a miniature version of HAARP.
only using 100 watts. It's perfectly safe.
When Dr. Agnew turns on the ELF wave transmitter and begins shooting ELF waves into the simulated cloud, the cloud begins to move up to the top of the chamber, taking the moisture with it.
If you get down low enough, you can actually see a clear layer above the antenna. It is actually pushing these water particles up, and that's exactly how HAARP works. What we've done is we've not only pushed the cloud off of the HAARP antenna, but as you can see, our cloud is almost completely gone inside. HAARP does exactly the same thing. It ionizes the particles, pushes them out into space.
HAARP is one of several ELF wave transmitters located all over the globe.
There, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know again, you know, the HAARP is real. If you want to like zoom in and get a little clearer on that, you can see here is the YouTuber and the video if you want to dig for it yourself. But I just want to say, it's just like, this is unbelievable what is going on. Check this out. I mean, people really, they can't even fathom that, you know, our governments could be so evil as to create these man-made disasters. And you got to understand that the elite, they make money off of countries' indebtedness. And they create these gargantuan, you know, man-made disasters to basically be able to also come in as aid and also take over. It is the most sinister, diabolical. It's something so beyond what the normal human being can fathom, that this would be a planned disaster. That it's just so much easier to disqualify the thought. But I really honestly think that they're speeding up the agenda because people are so asleep, they're so stupid. I mean, 9/11 just occurred, and they're pulling that off. They're pulling off making a man-made skyline. Nobody's even thinking about it, even considering that there's a problem when the blue skies are gone. Just little things like that really shows me that it's just like, you know, they've lost respect for the human race. It's seriously not funny anymore. It's time for us to wake up. As you know, the Katrina disaster that happened in Louisiana, that was, you know, obviously a man-made disaster allowed to happen. I mean, they sabotaged the levees, and then they stirred up a tsunami and a man-made hurricane that was able to come in and take over that territory. I mean, look what's going on here. This is like, Katrina is like a kiddie pool compared to this. This is in all of the scriptures. The dark times on the planet are now. We've got to come together and realize that this is HAARP. I know more clues are going to pour in, but you could already see that they're making out Mr. Khan. Is that the most perfect name for a prime minister? We're all being conned by him. Khan, however you say his name. I just want to say right now that he's being puppeted right now to look like a hero, so that people are going to all of a sudden like him again. He's going to get back popularity points. This whole thing is so rigged. Anyway, love to you. I'm not trying to outdo my New Zealand video, but just know this down deep inside your heart, that NASA is going to make up fault lines. You're going to have puppets in shiny suits making fraudulent research reports, you know, stating there's going to be a pole shift or a solar flare. You know, sometimes there really aren't any of these, and NASA's just making them up so that they can get away with having these man-made disasters. And everyone's going to think, oh, it must be the solar flare or the pole shift. You know, maybe there is a pole shift, but that's also going to be a reason why the government's also going to plan their attack at a time of either a made-up pole shift and a solar flare or a real one. They're still going to time it, get it, They know how to take the belief system of the world on every angle to make you not be able to fathom that man-made earthquakes are real. They're happening all over the world. These HAARPs are all over the globe. There's more of them than they'd ever release out to us. I'm just trying to say, I know that the earthquakes in Hawaii, it's absurd, man. You know, we have them like every 6 months, a serious quake or a jolt. You should have seen people running around like chickens with their head chopped off with this tsunami warning. I mean, it's all according to plan. Everybody is a robot out here. Hawaii was just absurd. People were all scuffling to higher ground. I don't personally think they're going to do anything to Hawaii because the elite like it too much. It's such a powerful military base. They own the Pacific region out here. Anyway, I love you guys. Let us all come together that knows that this is a fake quake. Let us all come together. Let's not forget. And now we've got, you know, nuclear plants exploding in Japan. Great, just what we need. I mean, this thing is getting messier by the day. God help us.